After the last speech, there appears to be a number of concerns in the House today regarding mail-order brides and the entire arrangement that really need to be cleared out before we go on to show you exactly what are the benefits that's going to come from the government's case. Here's how my speech is going to be segmented. We'll first go on to show you some rebuttals as to the opposition's concerns regarding this arrangement. Secondly, we'll tell you what are the benefits that's going to come out of this arrangement as a result of a comparative analysis between the situation in which these women are in now and the situations in which they will be as a result of this policy being passed. Moving on. The first point, the concerns brought about by side opposition. The most important one of them were the fact that the risks are way too large. Now, what are these risks that side opposition is talking about? They speak of how Chinese and Taiwanian brides have been used to traffic guns and drugs, and to the extent to which the deputy leader of opposition goes on to say they'll be enslaved in these countries. Well, we have 3 points of rebuttals to this. First of all, Shafkat in his speech has already gone on to tell you exactly why these agencies will obviously be under a proper regulation by international bodies to ensure that we can minimize this risk to the largest extent possible. But even after that, we have 3 more reasons to tell you why that shouldn't be the case. First, in terms of immigration officers of any country, the moment these immigration officers see people coming from a foreign land, people who are unable to speak the language of the country they're going into, it is only natural that they're going to scrutinize their papers, only going to scrutinize the reason why they're going all the way to a foreign land. And throughout that measure, if in any case such a risk does come about, such as if a 19-year-old does get to be seen with a bag of drugs, we tell you on the second point of rebuttal that the legal system of these countries are very well managed and are way more proper than we can possibly imagine. The moment any girl stands on that dais and is under legal scrutiny, we understand that the judge is going to pay heed to the fact that it's a foreign citizen who has come all the way here with the details of the agency that she has used to get all the way here, but also the vulnerability of the situation that she has come from, and the fact that she has actually entrusted these agencies to come into this foreign land, be it US or UK, are all going to be considered. And on the balance of probability, we tell you there is a high chance that the judge is going to be sympathetic of that lady, as Shafkat has already shown you in the case of Natalia Fox. We tell you that these women have legitimate reason to rely on the legal system of these countries to protect them from the risks should they come about, despite the restrictions we place upon these agencies. Thirdly, we tell you that irrespective of how much of a money-making machine these agencies talk to us about, that they're only going to be incentivized by the money the men are going to pay, we tell you that in countries like these, the reputation of the agencies matter a lot. We tell you that the only reason why these women trust these agencies and would go to any one of them despite having a number existing, that depends upon the reputation that it has been able to build up in the locality. And if word goes out that they have been unable to protect the girls that they were able to send all the way across to US or UK, we tell you that that's going to harm them quite substantially, and that's a risk that they would not want to take, and that ought to incentivize them, because clearly they're here for the long run and not just to make just some money, especially given the fact that they're constantly and continuously going to be under critical supervision. Their second point of concern was the fact that these women are going to be enslaved by the men who are going to marry them. Now, the only possible logical reason why that they could show us is the fact that if these men are in fact so worthy to pay for these women, then why aren't they marrying in their own land? If they have so much money, then there must be something wrong with these men. They must be beating up every one of these men must be beating up their wives like crazy. That doesn't necessarily happen. The moment you tell me that it is simply not possible for any man to want to marry a foreign lady, that's slightly illogical in itself. But that's not the matter of concern here. We're not saying that every man will want to marry a foreign bride. We tell you that these men are not necessarily the kind of psychopaths that you are expecting them to be. They simply just have the moment they go on looking for brides online, or go on looking for brides through agencies, is maybe because they're just tired of looking for brides by themselves. And the only reason that they're going to this is because they wish to marry somebody like that. And we've already shown you an analysis as to why these, even if these men are abusive, the wife has a much better chance to be protected than in her country. You tell us exactly why these ladies are now bought by these men, and now it goes against the very fundamental crux of feminism. We tell you that's not necessarily true. Not only are we giving these women a much safer environment than they could possibly have in their own country, as Shafkat has clearly told you in his entire speech, why these women are constantly under a threat of being kidnapped, of being raped, of their brothers being beaten up if they don't agree to get married to some drug lord. We tell you they're going to be in a much safer and secure environment. And not only this, the moment you tell us that why this is not a solution to these women being coming all the way to these countries, and that the solution should rather be that the state should take their responsibility and the state should give them proper educational opportunities, we tell you, wow, that would be amazing. I mean, they would be living in Wonderland, but they're not. And that's exactly where the comparative analysis comes by. That the situation where these women are is so terribly bad that now they're fighting for their survival. The moment they come to these countries, a number of things are going to happen. First, the moment you tell me that there's a possibility that the husband would not be paying for these women, first of all, that goes into an abusive marriage case, which again is brought about under the eyes of the law. But secondly, even if these men don't, these women are going to have a much better chance of earning money in USA than they will as a farmer in Mexico, as opposed to doing any menial job in USA. Not only are there provisions of community colleges, of public schools, that these women can, by earning themselves, can fend for themselves, can pay for themselves to educate them, thus giving them the opportunity to go into these community colleges, thus giving them the resources capable of going high up the ladder. Yes, you tell me that if these women are apparently so apparently don't have the qualification to be immigrated on first instance without being a mail order bride, then what makes you think that they're going to get a job in USA? We'll tell you this. The moment you apply for an immigration in Canada, you have to go through a series of tests that give you points on the basis of which the authorities are going to judge whether or not you're capable of being a Canadian citizen. So the doctors and engineers are the ones who tend to qualify the most. These women come from countries where their parents think they are probably an unfortunate act of nature, that they probably shouldn't have, are a burden to the family, that they are taking for the hell of it. There's no need for these families to invest in these women. There's no opportunity for these women to actually excel in education or excel in work that's going to tell these countries' authorities that yes, they are worthy of being their citizens, and thus they need to resort to such measures. That's exactly what Shafkat meant by telling you that these immigration procedures are not necessarily so helpful to these women, and this is the only way for them to be. So these comparative analysis and through the benefits and through all the procedures that there are to help these women survive and lead a healthy, good life in these countries is why we tell you that we're very, very proud to propose. Shafkat! Yeah, is that? I don't know. Excuse me.